What is going on, guys? I want to talk about anxiety and addiction, how they feed off of each other, how they are linked together, how they can coexist. My first major panic attack happened after a weekend of drinking with my friends. It was stupid. I got very little sleep. So I got back home after this long, crazy weekend of partying. I woke up in a jolt. Then I felt like my heart was beating crazy fast. I felt my blood pressure start getting worse. I started getting dizzy. My vision got blurred, and I instantly thought I was having a heart attack. And from there, the muscle tension got crazy. More adrenaline poured out. I had chest pains. I had depersonalization, derealization. I started hallucinating. Worst experience of my life, guys. And this was fueled by this crazy weekend of drinking. Now, I had been drinking for quite a few years before, but I guess this is when my body, it couldn't take anymore. And this was the crazy, horrible, nightmarish, freaky, crazy result of it. All right. From there, I developed health anxiety, thought I was dying of all kinds of diseases, including heart disease or cancer, HIV, AIDS. I thought I had all these things, guys. Irrational fears of it. Okay. I had a crazy depression after that because it felt like it was never ending. Then from there, I got social anxiety. I couldn't talk to people. So that's what happened, guys. I went to the ER after one of my major panic attacks. They told me to quit smoking. They told me that it raised my heart rate, my blood pressure, nicotine wasn't good for anxiety, so I quit that cold turkey. It was pretty simple. I quit that, and it did help some. I believe it did, and I'm thankful that I don't smoke today, so, hallelujah for that. But I still kept drinking. That was like my first real addiction. It was crazy. I drank every single night. I would wake up the next morning and I would have these horrible hangovers, but I call them anxiety hangovers because I would have the symptoms of a hangover, but they would make my anxiety a nightmare. I would have tons of panic attacks in the morning, and then the only way I felt better and the only way that I would forget about my health anxiety or my physical symptoms of anxiety, I would start drinking again, sometimes really early in the day, and this would just be a crazy cycle. Anxiety is a bad cycle itself, but whenever you have a bad cycle of addiction, it makes things that much worse, and it makes it seem almost impossible to defeat. So the best thing I think you can do is to figure out which one came first, the addiction, okay, or the anxiety, okay? You got to really think about that, because I think you should focus on whichever one came first, and the other one will kind of start to get better, but eventually you will have to tackle both of them, okay? But I think you should get the root cause first. And remember, guys, this isn't just about alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, because all those make anxiety terrible, and we use them to self-medicate. That could be caffeine, that could be sugar, it could be fatty foods, okay? It could be things like a TV, internet, social networks. Those are addictions too, guys. Those can be almost just as serious. We are trying to find happiness. We're trying to fill a void in our hearts, in our soul, that anxiety is taking away. We're trying to fill that up with something. And that's why addiction is so common with people with anxiety disorders, okay? So if I got any tips, guys, on quitting your addiction, if it's a substance, first off, like drugs or alcohol, consult with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. You need to make sure that you're able to taper off safely. If you don't need to go to a detox or treatment center, because there can be dangerous consequences for going cold turkey if you do this hardcore every day. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you do that. Tapering off in general might be a good idea. Now, things like tobacco, caffeine, and things like that, you can taper down, but they're easier to do cold turkey than something like alcohol or drugs. All right, so keep that in mind. There are things that can help you quitting any addiction. There's books, there's resources, there's counseling, there's support groups. Even when it comes to nicotine, there's things like nicotine gum, patches, all kinds of things, guys. Exercise is going to help you tremendously, and diet. That's going to help you with your anxiety, but it's also going to help you with your addiction recovery. So keep that in mind. You got to take it one day at a time. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I have tons of videos on addictions. You can check those out. Go to my playlist, whichever addiction that you have, and I got it covered, okay? Now, as far as your anxiety, all right, you need to make sure that you are eating the right foods, because you are what you eat. It's going to help you with your brain chemistry. Also, make sure that you are exercising, that you are getting those feel-good hormones and endorphins out. That's going to also wear your adrenaline down, and it's going to be hard to panic. It's going to be hard to have crazy anxiety, okay? Keep a journal, write down your workouts, your diets, how you feel, what it's doing to you, your goals. Meditate in the mornings and evening when you're close to your subconscious mind. Take a multivitamin. Many of us are low on nutrients that are crucial on fighting off anxiety. That means you need to be taking your vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and vitamin C is great for your immune system. That's going to help out with your body, okay? Anything else that I can think of off the top of my head? Support groups are great, okay? I have one that's almost 250 members. It's a Facebook group. Join it down below because people are going to help you with your anxiety, panic disorder, depression, all the symptoms that you're experiencing. And I can promise you many of those have gone through addictions too, and they have a lot of great advice. So make sure you join that. Join my social networks down below. Also join that Instagram in particular for different memes and quotes and things that have to do with anxiety. It's pretty cool. Also, like this video if you got some value. Leave me a comment down below if you've struggled with addiction and anxiety and if they have coexisted in your life. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you can get updates whenever my videos come out. And thank you so much for watching, guys, and you guys have a great evening.